What is up, all my dorks, nerds, geeks, and gamers? It's your host, Ghost here, and you're watching a brand new episode of Dorks Movie Minute. We're going to continue on with our Dexter New Blood episode review and analysis. Moving on with episodes 7 and 8. Episode 7 entitled Skin of Her Teeth, because last week we ended up with Angela finally finding out that Jim Lindsay is Dexter Morgan, but she also found out that he was a member of Metro Miami Homicide, so he does know blood splatter and that he would know how to identify a body and what happened to it. So when she finds this body in this cave, she calls Jim Lindsay and she says, "I don't need Jim Lindsay, I need Dexter Morgan," and that's where last episode ended off. We start off right away with Dexter and Angela assessing the body. At this point, as viewers, we know that this is already Iris, because they said the name so many times, and they showed Angela's commitment to Iris, and her looking for her so many times that us as fans know that when they find a body and it's a female and she's got a bracelet around her wrist that looks familiar, then we know it's Iris, just as well as Angela knows. We get Dexter going into his Miami Metro personality, which is very cool to see. Showing the body, she's been shot here, she's got skin on her teeth, she's been clawing and trying to get out of here. She was alive when she died. Awesome to see Dexter go into his cop days and really pull that out of his butt, because we haven't seen that yet in this series, so to him to go back to that was really cool. But the skin under the teeth eventually leads to Kurt. It does lead to a Codwell, but we don't know if it's Kurt's, his son's, or his father's, but we learn more about that later. We get another scene with Dexter and Harrison. They still can't see eye to eye. Harrison wants to work for Kurt at the truck stop. Dexter knows that's not a good idea because he knows that Kurt's a serial killer. He just can't tell his son that. So he basically keeps trying to tell him, "Don't work there, it's not a good idea, I don't trust Kurt," this and that. But Harrison does it anyway because he's just a rebellious, that's how he is, that's his character, he's just a rebellious kind of teen. So he takes the job anyway and he starts cleaning the trucks at the truck stop. We then cut to Dexter and Angela. Dexter ends up telling Angela about the kill room that he saw with Molly the other day, just to get things started with Angela trying to get Kurt in jail to keep Kurt away from Harrison, because we all know what's going on with Kurt and Dexter, with Kurt knowing that Matt is dead because of Dexter, so he's going to go after Harrison. So that's still going on. But when they get to the kill room, him and Angela, Dexter and Angela, they see it's completely stripped, nothing's there anymore, it's completely gone and empty, which kind of Dexter knew was going to happen, but now it looks kind of bad on his end from Angela's point of view. Dexter then goes to check on Harrison at the truck stop, because once again he still does not trust Kurt at all. He still thinks that he's going to try to get revenge on him any way he can. And he's right, but he's more meticulous than Dexter knows. And he's actually 2 or 3 more steps ahead of Dexter than he thinks. So we get him checking on Harrison. At the same time, Kurt confronts him, and they have a piece of cake or pie or whatever it is while they talk to each other. And this is the most intriguing scene of this episode, because it's actually 2 serial killers that know each other are serial killers, but they know that the public doesn't know, so they try to hide it while they're having this conversation in an open public. So it's very awesome to see them try to cat and mouse each other with each line they're talking, and to see them, to see both of them think that they're the alpha dog and to stay on top of this conversation. Very intriguing, awesome to see. Just then they're interrupted by Angela and her crew of policemen as they arrest Kurt for the murder of Iris, which they can tie to DNA from the teeth, on the skin on her teeth. Which we get this whole sob story about, we get to see Kurt's background, this whole sob story about how his dad was the one that was killing these hookers, these runaways, and it messed him up mentally, and that he knew about it, but he wasn't the one doing the killing. Now, here's my theory. When we see that flashback of that kid in the back of the car listening to Runaway, and we see the father figure, beating up the prostitutes or whatever, I don't believe that that is Kurt and his father. My best guess would be that Matt is the one in the back of the seat listening to the Runaway song, while Kurt is the one in the front, and doing this to these prostitutes. And that led to Matt having such a messed up life, is because of the sins of Kurt's father or whatnot. So that's just my opinions. I really don't know how true it is that his father had anything to do with it, but that's who he blames it on. And they end up getting away with it because they can't really go back. There's no proof Kurt did anything. No one believes Kurt would do anything like this. So they kind of let him go. At the same time, we get Angela and Molly, who are finally piecing together that Dexter Morgan may be the Bay Harbor Butcher, just by the fact that how would he know where that kill room is when he was sitting all the way across the bar? The only way he would have known that is if he would have used his phone to record Molly's conversation, which he did, which kind of sets Angela on the track that there's more with Dexter than she can know. At the same time, we get we get Harrison getting a message from someone at his work telling him to give it to his father, this complete stranger that no one knows what's going on. And within this message is Matt's, the pins from the surgery in his leg from the crash, the boat crash from way ago, and they wouldn't have burned in the fire. So that's how Kurt knows that Dexter did kill Matt overall. So that's cool to see. At the same time, at the very end of the episode, we get Harrison getting attacked at work by the rival school bullies, who he broke one of their arms at the wrestling match last episode, so they're back for revenge. At the same time, Harrison pulls out his razor blade, and he's ready to cut these guys and mess them up, if not potentially kill them. Dexter steps in and stops him because he's basically like, this isn't the way to do it. If you're going to do it, you got to not get caught. So, I mean, that's number one. And that's basically where it ends. Harrison runs off, and Dexter ends up getting kidnapped by the guy that gave Harrison the envelope to give to Dexter. Solid episode. I'm not going to say one of the best episodes of this series. I'm actually going to say it's more one of the weaker episodes of this season. But we did get quite a few more answers, and it did build the tension between Dexter, Harrison, and Kurt. And it does start to get the ball rolling a little bit for this next episode. Give this one, Skin of Her Teeth, episode 7, a 7 out of 10. Very solid episode, but still not quite the best episode I've ever seen. Moving on to episode 8. Which is getting there to some of the best episodes I've ever seen. But episode 8, Unfair Game, very strong episode, very awesome episode. But we start off here. Dexter is knocked out from getting kidnapped at the last episode. He got choked out. So he's having visions of Harrison actually killing the bullies from the last episode. This is kind of Dexter's psyche telling him that he wants Harrison to have a dark passenger. Doesn't necessarily like that he would be happy if he had one, like that he would nurture it, but he wants him to have one, and that's the problem. And I think that's going to be the downfall of Dexter as a father figure. But yeah. Dexter ends up waking up, attacking the driver, causing the car to crash. He ends up going flying through through one of the back windows, or the windshield. Either way, he messes his head up. He's all messed up. And it's an awesome scene because for a second he thinks about rushing the car and killing the guy, till the guy pulls out a rifle and he pulls it out and cocks it. And that's when Dexter's like, okay, I don't have this one. He starts running towards the woods. He ends up getting shot in the leg. Another thing that I think will tie into his downfall in episode 10, because he will have to explain this bullet hole in his leg, what happened in the woods. There's going to be his blood all over the woods. There's going to be this other guy's blood all over the woods. So yeah, there's something he's going to have to explain later on. So yeah, Dexter's running through the woods and he gets hit in the leg. Kurt calls Harrison to try to keep tabs on him and Dexter, trying to find out where he's at, and if he wants to hang out because his dad's not there to spend the day with him. And Harrison says sure. At the same time, we get Angela still looking into the Bay Harbor Butcher. She finds out about that drug dealer that Dexter stabbed in the neck and then saw a cop, so he threw the needle and ended up beating him, punching him in the face. She ends up talking to him and finding a needle mark on his neck, which leads to her looking more into the Bay Harbor Butcher and ketamine and who would have ketamine and all these things. And it all leads to Dexter eventually. But he has a pretty good alibi, so I think he can still get out of it at this point. But we'll have to wait and see what more she discovers before the end of this. So yeah, that's still going there. We get Kurt and Harrison. They sneak into the school to hit some baseballs. Harrison takes the paint out on himself, basically letting the balls hit him in the ribs as they're shooting at him. And Kurt actually sees a bit of himself in Harrison at this moment, so he actually does feel bad for him. But he also knows that he's going to kill him anyway, so he doesn't feel too bad for him. He still keeps his distance away from him enough to where he can kill him if he needs be. But a lot going on with the Harrison character in this moment, with his relationship with Dexter, with Kurt, and everything else. Because this is him literally opening up to Kurt in the most way he knows how, more than he's ever opened up for Dexter at all ever. So it's very cool to see this and to see Kurt take that for granted at the end of the episode when we get there. So after that, Dexter finds a cabin in the woods as he's running away from this guy still, trying to get away. He does end up finding a knife in the cabin, and he ends up getting the upper hand on this guy, where he comes in the cabin and he does kill him. He finishes him off just like he would anyone else, with a stab to the chest, into the heart. So that guy's now dead. And then Harrison and Kurt are now at Kurt's house, and they're having a conversation with him. And just randomly, Kurt gets out of nowhere. He walks up. He goes in the back bedroom and he puts on his killer outfit, with the white mask and the rifle. And he basically pops up and he tells Harrison, "It's time to run, and I'm going to kill you now." So Harrison is all freaked out. He thought he was having an open conversation with a friend. Come to find out, this guy's a serial killer, and his dad was right. So Harrison basically freaks out. He starts running. Just then, Dexter shows up in the truck the guy that he just killed. He stole his truck, and now he's speeding towards Kurt, but Kurt thinks it's his friend who is bringing Dexter to him, so he doesn't really move out of the way until he realizes it is Dexter, and he jumps out of the way and it runs over his rifle, so there goes Kurt's weapon. So now at this point, Kurt is running for his life in the woods, disappearing, and who knows where he went, but we know he goes somewhere because he disappears out of thin air, so we know that's not possible. We then get Harrison and Dexter hugging, and Dexter tells Harrison he's going to tell him everything at this point, everything about being a killer, and everything about the code of Harry, and everything else leading here. And it's a very touching moment between Dexter and Harrison finally releasing to each other about everything. Very solid episode, episode 8, Unfair Game. I give this one a 9 out of 10. I cannot wait to see where these last 2 episodes of Dexter New Blood go, and I'm very excited to see where they take Harrison and Dexter's story in the long run. But let me know down below what you guys thought of these 2 episodes, Dexter New Blood, of episodes 7 and 8. Are you enjoying this series as much as I am? Let me know down below. Are you enjoying the twist between Kurt and Dexter, and do you think it's an awesome rivalry they have going on down below? Let me know as well. Make sure you like, subscribe, or share, and as always, guys, keep it right here on Dorks Den. I've been your host, Ghost. Adios.